Hey guys, welcome in this week to Come Cook with Joe. This week we are continuing our holiday extravaganza, and we will be making our holiday bruschetta, which will be a nice addition to last week's Buckeyes as your dessert. So the one thing I'm concerned about and we need to discuss is for next week, because it's Thanksgiving week. So obviously next Thursday is Thanksgiving, so I need to know from you guys if you would like me to move the date or just postpone it altogether and not have one next week. I would like to have you guys come in and have one next week, and we can talk about that. And if you have any ideas, just post them back. I know we've got some peanut brittle that we're looking at. I know we've got Definity candy that we're looking at, maybe some fudge, things like that. Kim's saying pork tenderloin, but we're doing that the first week in December. So we'll be doing that on the 3rd. That one's going to be really fun, and it's going to be elegant and beautiful. So I think you guys will really enjoy that. So if you have any thoughts and concerns about that, just post them back to me. While we're thinking about that, though, let's get into tonight's appetizer. So tonight what you're going to need is a cutting board, because we're going to be cutting up the bread, the cheese. We're going to be cutting up the pomegranate and the cranberries, and also the basil. So a lot of cutting over here tonight. But I brought out 2 knives tonight. So I've got our bread knife, which is...
On time.
Oh, hi, Cindy. I'm glad you're here on time. And I know my mom's watching. At least I hope she is, because she's gotten everything ready. So, but the bread knife, guys, the bread knife is basically serrated edge. And so we're going to be using that to cut up the baguette. And then we have our French knife out tonight to do the major cutting on the other things.
George says, what's up?
Oh, hey, George. We got our cutting board. We're going to need our zester. Hi, Mom. I'm glad you're here. We've got our zester. You're going to need a big wooden spoon, because tonight, to get those pomegranate seeds out, we're going to spank the pomegranate to get those seeds out. So that'll be really fun. So you guys will really enjoy that. So I've got a bowl here, which we're going to use to put the pomegranate, the zest, and the sweetener in. And then we're going to get that in the fridge, but we'll do that in a few minutes. I've got a plate for the zest. I guess I don't need the plate. I guess I can just go straight into the bowl. We've got our cranberries, which is half a cup. And we gave Cindy the other half, so she's got those. We've got our brie wheel. This is it's called for 6 ounce. This is an 8 ounce. This is pretty much the smallest one we can find. So we'll get into that. We're going to cut that up. Tonight what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it down lengthwise and then cut it across in the smaller sections. And I'm probably going to use half of that, because obviously it's just me and Kim. So I'm not going to make as many as I could with this. So just bear that in mind. But if you are hosting a party, by all means, make as much as you can. Guys, so I have I have a 16 ounce, which it calls for a 6 ounce. This is 1 pound of French baguette bread. So I'm obviously not going to use all this tonight. So I'm going to probably use a quart of it just for me and Kim's sake. And we'll do something else with the rest of that. Kim and I will later on, but that's the best I could find. So give it to Lebanon Kroger. So I've got my sweet and low, which we'll be putting in with the pomegranate seeds and the zest. I've got the grapefruit tonight. I've got the nice pomegranate here ready for the holidays. I've got the basil, which we're going to be cutting up and putting on top as the garnishment. I've got some pepper that we'll be putting in on top of the actual bread before we toast it. And I have my non-cook Pam spray. So we're going to use that a couple times tonight. I'm going to use parchment paper on my baking sheet, though. So, hi, Penny. I'm glad you're here. So that's why I have a baking sheet out tonight. That's what we're going to use. That's the only thing you're going to need, guys, tonight is the baking sheet. I'm going to line it with parchment paper, so I don't have to worry about the stickiness of the spray on my cooking sheet once I get done. And then obviously the oven, and then I've got my plating plate. So that's all we're going to do tonight. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to go ahead and preheat our oven to 350 degrees, which automatically pops up for mine. So we've got the oven preheating at 350. And then let's go ahead and get started in on our garnishment. So first thing we're going to need to do is I'm going to go ahead and take the sweet and low and pop it right in here. So if you don't have any sweetener, I told you guys what to bring in. I looked up the measurements for the difference of the sweetener compared to regular sugar. So don't be afraid to just use regular sugar with that as well. So then the next thing we need to do is get our zester out, because we're going to go ahead and zest off our grapefruit. And this calls for I just lost it. It calls for half teaspoon of your zest. So we're going to come in here and we're going to go ahead and zest off a half a teaspoon. Or I'm sorry, I said a half, I meant a teaspoon. And guys, the one thing you want to remember whenever you're talking about zest is that you, especially with the rinds on that, you don't want to get down into the white part of that. The white part gets sort of tart and a little bit stronger, so you want to stay away from that. So just make sure that you're getting the orange part, or in the lime sense, the green part, right? And stay away from the actual rind itself. So now we'll go ahead and get our pomegranate over here, and look like we're going to create some murder. So we'll get our French knife out, and we will cut down right down through the middle of that. All the blood. All right. So here's the fun part. Now, the easiest way to do this is we're going to take this and turn it right over. Leave our fingers open, all right, just like that. Turn it over and then just spank it. And those seeds are just going to fall right out. Mine was a little bit not what needed to be, but nevertheless, it's here. So mine was a little bit, I bought mine early. I bought mine early because I was trying to, what? I'm sorry? Oh, is it too far down? Kim's telling me my angle's weird. Yeah. So I need to put it up. I'm wearing my, there. I'm wearing the shirt I wore to work today, and it's a flannel, so that's probably half the problem. So sometimes you got to loosen that skin up, the white skin on the inside. You want to make sure that you don't have any of that in there, though, guys, whenever you go to actually use that pomegranate. So the skin is the white part here. That's very bitter. You don't want that inside of your mill or with your seeds. Like I said, I was hoping this one would actually get a little bit more ripe for me before I came tonight. But like I said, I was hoping it would go out, but it's not doing a very good job. So let's try this side. Side's a little bit better. I think that's going to be good for what Kim and I need. So I'm going to put these aside, though. I'll just use that plate. Put those aside because I'm going to use those here in a little bit. We'll get the seeds out and use them in a salad or something. Okay, so we've got that taken care of. Got the zest done. Then the other thing we need is our cranberries. So quick wash of the hands from the juices of the pomegranate. Now, the cranberries, guys. Different ways you can do this because we need two cups of the cranberries. And again, this is going back to the full recipe. So I'm not going to do all these cranberries because I won't need them all tonight. If you're hosting a party, you will need that because you're going to want to make these look really good. So that's a bad one right here. So I'm only going to do a few. And again, you guys are more than welcome to obviously do as much as you need to. So always make sure that you've got good ones. Make sure that they aren't real soft. And if you're going to cook these, which we aren't going to tonight, but they will pop. So depending on the recipe, if they're just wanting it toasted, then you will pull them before they pop. If they want them to pop, then obviously cook them until they pop. A couple ways you can do this. Tonight, since a lot of you might not have a food processor, I'm just going to use my knife and just come in here and literally just chop them in half. And they're going to go right inside there. So it's just that easy. Now this would take a long time, especially if you was doing 2 cups. So the one thing I would suggest that you would do is use your food processor and just use the pulse, obviously, and the metal blade, and then just run them through your food processor until they're pretty much cut up. But again, tonight, since I'm not using that many, I'm just going to come in here with my French knife and cut these in half, and we will be good to go. So once we get done with this, we are sticking this in the refrigerator until we get ready for it, because the next thing we're going to do is come back and cut our bread up and then get that ready. We're going to spray that with some oil, and then we're going to put some pepper on there, and then we're going to stick that in the oven and let it cook for 4 minutes. Then we're going to pull that back out, flip it over, and cook it for 4 minutes again. And then we're going to add our brie slices to it, which we'll have to cut that up here in just a minute. And with our brie slices, then that will be good to go. Let me go ahead and use my wooden spoon. Huh?
I was going to say you don't stir it.
Yeah, I'm going to stir it up. So we're going to go ahead and stir this. Let all those flavors start getting incorporated. Another thing that we're going to use as a garnish tonight also is our basil. And so we will get that out here in a few minutes and get that rolled and cut. So this is ready to go in the refrigerator. So I'm going to go ahead and add that in the fridge. Let me clean my workstation up just a pinch. Get these over here in the sink. Take my board and give it a good quick rinse. We don't want our bread to look really bad and pink. Alrighty. Now we'll get our baguette. Okay. Now, guys, one of the main things to remember with your knife and your baguette is always let the knife do the work. You don't have to really press down hard on it. I'm going to cut this end off just to get a nice level spot. Now, whenever you're cutting, the one thing that you want to make sure that you're doing is letting... I had a little thief come over and get that slice of baguette, my wife. Is like I said, sawing motion, right? Let the teeth do the work. Don't press down on it, okay? Because you see we got a nice, perfect cut, right? It's nice and round. It's not squished. So on your baguette will stand up a little bit better, right, than some of your other breads. But some of your soft breads, if you come in and start mashing down, you're going to smash your bread up. So always let the knife do the work for you. Like I said, I'm just going to probably do about 4 slices here for Kim and I, a couple slices apiece, because we don't need that much. So we are going to decorate our Christmas tree Friday. And so we are probably going to use some of the brie and maybe some of this baguette to celebrate the oncoming season. So that'll be kind of fun. So, all right. So now we've got our baguette done. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to take parchment paper tonight instead of spraying, like I said, and just line my cookie sheet with some parchment paper. If you don't have parchment paper, that's fine. You don't have to have it. Hopefully you have it from last week, though, because we made our Buckeyes. Or no, we used wax, didn't we? I'm sorry. So this week I'm using parchment paper. I know we've used parchment paper once before. Can't remember what recipe that was for. But anyways, and then we're going to go ahead and take our bread, and I'm going to go ahead and lay my bread out. And then now you can either do one of two things. You can either take regular olive oil and use that and just cover the top, or you can just take your Pam and just spray the top of your bread with it, like that. And then I'm going to grab my pepper and just gently cover the top with pepper, like that. And then this is going to go in the oven for about 4 minutes. So in the oven it goes, 511. So, all right. Now, the next thing we need to do, and what we can do while we're waiting, is go ahead and get our basil cut up. So I'm just going to brush that off from the bread that we just used. I'm going to go back to my French knife on this one, and I'm going to come over here and grab my basil.
Do you want to do a big one?
Yeah, if you don't care. So Kim's going to give me a plate. Gosh, it smells so good. Okay, so now with the basil, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pull it off. You can do one of two things at this point in time. After Kim's telling Riley he doesn't get basil. So you can do one of two things. You can go ahead and take your basil and just leave it in full leaves, which would be fine, because it'll probably fit on your bread. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and come in here and roll this and then slice it. And then that'll just make a little bit smaller pieces for our bread. But it smells really good. And we have a little bit left over for next time. I'm sure we'll probably be making something. I don't know what it's going to be, but we'll be making something. So, no,
Says you're going too fast.
I'm going too fast. Well, this will be time to catch up because now We've got 4 minutes, so we're just going to do some prep work. Mom says I'm going too fast. Sorry, guys, if I'm going too fast. So we pulled off the basil. We're going to stack these leaves up just like this. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to roll that or fold it, okay, just like that. I'm going to take my French knife and come in here and just slice it. Now, the one thing you'll notice if you use your French knife on your basil like this, if you aren't cooking it, it's going to be bruised. So just like regular romaine lettuce or iceberg lettuce, if you use your blade, you're going to bruise the end of the leaf. So always make sure you're using your fingers and turning those apart. Tonight, since it's just going to be really quick and relatively I'm just doing it with the knife. So again, if you're hosting and you don't want to see those purple edges, then by all means, make sure that you aren't using your knife. Just make sure that you're ripping those up. Or just leave them in full leaves, which would be fine too. So next thing, let's go ahead and get our brie cut. So hopefully you can catch up with me at that point in time. So I'm going to take it out of the package. Guys, we do a brie wheel and chutney, which we did with you guys. That was one of the very first ones that we did, I think. Matter of fact, it might have been the very first one we did. So just like I said, the packaging's outside. The white course on the outside is the mold side, which is what is supposed to be on the brie. So we're going to go ahead and take that, and I'm going to go ahead and just cut this down the middle. And like I said, Kim and I are probably going to use this for something else later. So I'm only going to do about half tonight because I have 4 slices in there. So I'm going to give this probably 4 slices here. So I'm going to do that as 1, 2, and then let's come on this side, same, and do 3 and 4. So there is our 4 cut slices. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to put this back in a plastic bag so we can keep that for tomorrow, because I believe we're going to do a that chutney with the brie wheel tomorrow while we celebrate and put Christmas up. So that'll be kind of nice. So we've got the baguette bread, we've got brie and chutney, we've got a whole bunch of festive stuff going on. We've got some pomegranate seeds that we can use on a salad or something in the crock pot. So good stuff. All right. So, okay, the 4 minutes is up. So I'm going to grab a hot mitt, come in here with our bread, and we're going to go ahead and take that out.
You gotta flip it.
I know that. And now we're going to go ahead and flip this. So we're just going to flip those right over. 2, 3, and 4. And then those are going to go back into the oven, just like that, and cook for 4 more minutes at 516. Get that closed up. Let me grab a baggie here for our pomegranate. Get that put away. I'm going to need 2, aren't I? Okay. So hopefully everyone's getting ready for the holidays. This has been a fun adventure. I'm glad we were doing this together. I think it's going to be really nice whenever we get, like I said, that first week in December, that the pork loin that we're going to do is really nice. So it's really elegant. It's really pretty. And so plate's really nice, especially if you have a big... If you have a big get-together that you're wanting to do.
You can't do it myself.
Well, right, I'm sorry. You can't have a big get-together. But, you know, in years to come, hopefully you guys can look back on this and say, yeah, I remember when. And then you guys will have a great recipe to use. So, all right. So now we're just going to wait for that to get done. And then once that comes out, what we're going to do is we're going to put the brie onto the sliced bread. And we're going to put that back in the oven and let it cook for 2 more minutes. And then we're going to pull that out. We're going to go ahead and get it plated. And then we'll put our toppings on. So let's go ahead and grab this stuff and bring it over for us. There's that. Here's our brie. Set that there. We're going to put our pepper up. Sorry, guys. I'm pulling y'all around the room. Put our pepper up. Get our toppings out. Looking pretty good. Let's get a spoon so we can spoon those onto our...
Penelope's asking the temperature. Probably the oven. Probably.
So, Penny, the oven is at 350. So we came in and started that. That was right at the very beginning, so you might not have been here. But it was preheated to 350, and so they're baking at 350. So the first time we went in, of course, it was 4 minutes. The second time we go in is 4 minutes. And then after we put the brie on top on each one, then we're going to go for 2 minutes at that point in time. So and let the brie get nice and gooey and melty. And then when we bring it out, then we'll go ahead and top it. So how we'll do that is, once it comes out, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to add on to our pomegranate, the mix, and then we'll top it with the actual basil. So it's going to be nice, a little bit different flavors with it. The basil is a little bit off from what you would think would go with this, but then you're getting your flavors such as like what would go with the turkey dinner. So this would be a really good one with that. So.
Sorry.
So mailman just dropped off the mail, and Riley saw it because we got our doors open. So that's what he's going nuts over. So, all right, so guys, I'm going to go ahead and pull this. So,
My mom says that she can eat the cranberry mixture with a spoon.
yeah. So Cindy says that she could eat the cranberry mixture with a spoon. So we're going to come in here and we're going to just set these right on top. Guys, this is going to be so nice.
Oh, by the way, I got requests for Buckeyes at work again.
Oh, great. So it sounds like I'm going to be making more Buckeyes for Christmas for Kim's work. So, all right. So we got those in. So now we're going to go 2 minutes, 5:20. So hopefully you guys are getting ready for the holidays, like I said. Fun time of the year, one of the best times, my favorite time of the year. So hopefully you guys find time to meet with family and friends, even though under the restrictions that we have. But again, guys, just keep in mind, next year it might be different. So we'll be back to a normal, which is nice. So, so I wish everyone safe travels if they do get out this Christmas and holiday season. And be kind of nice to actually get away. I know there's some people that was going to away to different trips and stuff, different places. So that would be kind of fun. So, guys, if you're making this, obviously with a 6-ounce baguette-style French bread, you're going to get more than 4 slices out of it, right? So if you have a nice sized platter, you can always platter that and then take some of your extra basil and lay it between them. Take some of your extra filling if you have any and lay it, around. Just make the plate look really pretty, and it'd be nice. So nice centerpiece, nice appetizer, like I said. You've got your Buckeyes for dessert if you want to go that route. I know there's a lot more classier things than Buckeyes for dessert, but those would be really nice to pass out to friends, family. And then, like I said, this on the 3rd of December, I'm really hoping to put together a nice, elegant pork loin for you guys. And I'll talk to the difference between pork loin and pork tenderloin. We've been having some fits trying to find something for pork tenderloin. It's sort of funny because everyone lists the pork loin as a tenderloin. That's not the case. So your loin's a whole lot thinner and so a whole lot longer. Your pork loin is a whole lot bigger and it has a lot more fat content to it. So just sort of funny. Oh, I don't know. All right. Quick check on this, guys. So those cuts on my brie was a little bit thicker. Again, you're just trying to get a little bit tender and soft, maybe a little bit gooey, which is kind of nice. Whenever we did the brie wheel, if you guys remember, once we cut into that, all the goodness came out, and of course we topped it with that mango chutney, and it was really good. So that's something else you could do for the holidays. Another great appetizer. If you guys wanted to look back at one of the first, I believe it was the very first video I did. If you guys want to look back towards that, it'd be another great appetizer for a holiday get-together. I saw some holiday crackers at Kroger's today, which is kind of cool. So, pick those up as your dipping type thing, and it's good stuff. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop the oven because we're at 522, which was 2 minutes. I know this brie isn't going to look like it's fully melted, which doesn't look like it's melted, but nevertheless, it's gooey. So we will go ahead and top this. If you want to cook yours a lot longer, that's fine. Get it melted down over your baguette, that's fine too. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take our cranberry, And we're going to take this and set it right here on top of the brie. Maybe, right? So yeah, guys, definitely whenever you're cooking it, make sure that you cook it a little bit longer. I'm just trying to save some time and get through this. And your slices could be a little bit thinner too. I've just got a little bit overzealous with my slices because I like brie. Get off there. All right. Come in here and grab the basil. Just top that with a little bit of basil. So like I said, if you left that in a full leaf, you could cover the entire thing, obviously. But if you cut it like this tonight, then you're going to notice that you can get a little bit more on there, and it's going to showcase a little bit better. So like I was talking about the sides, I don't know if you guys can see that very well, but these sides bruise, and so they actually turn purple. So, you know, if you're trying to avoid that, then obviously by all means use your fingers and tear it up, and don't cut it with a knife. Same thing, same principle goes with lettuce. So if you don't want to bruise that lettuce, then just tear it up and don't actually go in and cut it with a knife. So, all right, let's get our basil out of the way. All right, guys, so there we go. A holiday bruschetta. So again, it's going to be easy. Obviously, you saw how easy it was. You cooked along with me. If you didn't cook along with me, hopefully you try it and see how it goes. Colorful. You got the reds, greens, and whites for Christmas. And so you're ready for to host your party, maybe next year or maybe this year. Who knows? So I'll go ahead and turn you guys around and get you for the send-off. So, guys, thanks for coming and cooking with me. As always, it's a good time. Next week, like I said, I'll probably post something, maybe on Wednesday, maybe on Friday, whatever works best for you guys. Maybe we'll do something as a leftover on Friday. So that could be kind of cool. So Kim and I will talk about it. We'll figure some things out. We'll try a new recipe nonetheless. And so, like I said, be looking for something on Friday. We will probably look for a leftover. That's a good idea I didn't think about until just now with you guys. So next week, probably on Friday posted instead of Thursday. We'll be ready for the weekend anyway, so it'll be a good time. We'll be able to sit back and relax. So it'll be a fun time. So Friday, 5 o'clock on the 27th, come back and we'll be cooking with Joe again. So, till then, bye.